Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look around the plane server. Now the players have had exactly 1 week since we last took a look around their bases, their outposts, and their creations, and they've been hard at work building some really nice planes, aircraft, and all sorts of strange contraptions. And of course, we're starting the tour off at the RTR base. So you can see RTR have actually completed their train line for the moment. You can see they've extended this a little bit further back in there. Tram or monorail, whatever you want to call it, can extend down to this very useful station down here, get you across the base in case you're late for your flight. Very nice indeed. We've also got a good selection of vehicles and things about. We're just having a quick look in their departure terminal because there's a slight update in here that you'll quite dig. So as we pop in here, you can actually see the departures. Take a look at that. So you can see there's various different things. One to me, one to Apathy's trading outpost, some to ARC, some to SGC. Very cool indeed. And we've also got an aerial map in this section of the actual outpost. This looks like it's a little bit of an older map though, because there's a few things missing off there, but still really cool indeed. Let's actually have a look at the aircraft that they've been working on. Let's try to do it quite quickly as well, because we've got a lot of bases to see. So coming right to the far end, we've got ourselves this B-17, of course, in some nice orange grille, a bit of RTR colouring. You can see the B-17 style design. You've got the turrets on the top there, and if we have a look underneath, we've actually got these bombs in this area, and these are the standard RTR type design with the warheads and batteries in there with the sensor block on the front. So these should be quite devastating. I'd really like to catch these in action if possible. Of course, we've got the grinder pit, and Casper can't complete any outpost without a Thomas the Tank, and since we're in the plane world, he has given it quite a puzzled face, because I think any tank engine that finds itself flying is going to be quite worried about that. We've got a cool stealth jet behind it, and then we've got the printer hangar there with another bomber or sort of fighter bomber tucked away inside. And of course, we now have the home of the greatest motor car ever, aka Chitty Bang Bang. Now, if you saw this film growing up as a kid, you knew that this thing ripped through German aircraft and could take down the Bismarck itself. Well, you would have known that if you watched the behind the scenes footage. So let's start this thing up anyway. Let's boot the engines up, and let's roll this thing out onto the tarmac and just get a good look at it. And of course, this thing is fully propelled by magic itself. Look at that. Look at the design itself. Them tiny propellers getting this car into the air. I'm sure this is going to drift like a truck. Yeah, yes, it does. Oh my god, we're going to crash into everything. Oh, life support and ship fuel's low. I can't control it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Stone. If I crash this and there's a little wreckage at your base, hold on. We can recover this. There we go. Sorry, Storm. I'm so sorry for messing your car. I'll just leave it. I'll leave it nicely at the end of the runway here for you, so you can collect it. I'm sorry about that. Don't grab friction on the end. Whew. Okay, there we go. So having a look onto the other side, it looks like we've got some emergency response type vehicles for various jobs that are going around the place. This looks like maybe a refueling or an unloading vehicle. We've got some more of them stealth fighters. We've got the Red Baron we've already seen, and we've got this AC-130. That's a new addition to the fleet. I believe Casper and the crew, RTR, have been using this to get to Apathy's trading outpost and do some trading, but it's got a nice little interior you can see inside here. And if I just bring my character around to the back, you can see we've got the ladder that accesses that there. So I'll go back to my spectator camera and I'll take you inside. So this is quite a big, small grid, but it is full of details, of course. You've got the respawn bays, you've got the seating area on the upper floor, and if you go into the lower area, you can see all the cargo storage. And due to this plane having quite a large wingspan, it means it can really transport some supplies for long distance. Very cool indeed. We've got like a desert-coloured fighter there as well. Anyway, we've had a quick look around the outpost, and there's one thing I don't want to miss. Look at this guy. We've got a US Army Huey, I'm guessing. Look at that. That's pretty cool. It's got this little machine gun turret in the top there. It's got an aiming reticle even on that piece of glass. If we go inside there, really cool indeed. Nice to see RTR building some amazing creations as usual. I don't think we've missed anything. Let's head over to the DBS outpost. So bringing up the menu, we have got a lot of ARC things, but we have DBS right at the top there. So let's bring that up to the surface base level. So now we're at DBS's secret hideout. You can see that they've blended it in the best they can there. And we can recess ourselves down through the door. They've got multiple entrance points here, little hangars off to the side as well. And when I first looked at this, I was like, how are they going to get their planes out of here? And you guys in the comment section, let me know how you think they're doing it as well, because it's puzzling me unless they just fly straight out the shaft. So they've got their printing machines over on this section, they've got the golf cart parking, and they've got a selection of really cool looking aircraft. They've got a little mini helicopter. They've got like a large cargo / attack aircraft. They've got another medium one there, all using a sort of biplane type design that I think is pretty cool. Over here we've got this really weird looking helicopter device, but it's got an interior as well with seats for transport. Ooh. Then we've got some of the older planes that we've seen before over at this outpost. It looks like they've been producing a few of them, ready for some upcoming battles. We've of course got a lovely glitter type fighter, a helicopter, and some of the vehicles that we've seen there. But their pit doesn't end here. There's lots of other areas within this base. We've got production, quarantine, power storage. They've labelled every corner. And what I thought was really cool about this is they're using the hydrogen system. Since we've limited resources on this server, they literally have to turn these generators on. That then generates the battery power that charges these batteries up, and this is something they're going to have to keep on top of. I really think it's a cool idea. And of course we've got the medical quarters over in this section, a really nicely laid out base. It's a little bit bigger than usual, and we like to keep our bases small here on the LSG server, but sometimes they do get a little bit out of hand, and we understand that. So if we go a little bit further down to the bottom, we've of course got some more ships that are in the works, as well as a staircase. Remember, there's no jetpacks on this server. And if we go down below, we have their little grinder pit down there. Very cool indeed, as well as some funky looking helicopters and other storage. A really nice hangar and base from DBS, as well as some cool creations. Anyway, let's head over to Ark. So dropping by at the Ark base, let's try to spawn everything in. There we go. So they're still living very comfortably in their giant volcano type pit. The top of the hangar really hasn't changed too much. Neither of the lower levels, you'll see these look quite similar. They've got some new helicopters that are in design. I know they're always trying to pioneer new creations to take out the enemy. And as you can see here, they've got the tunnel that leads down to another section over here. So this is their cargo storage. They've got these little cargo bots that I think are really cool, with machine guns and a little thing just to get around the base. A nice little idea. And you see they're relying on the same sort of system. They've got the engines, they turn the engines on, they charge the batteries, and that's how they're getting the power that they need. And of course they've got some more cargo bots tucked around there. Anyway, let's go back to the centralized shaft of their base, and we'll drop down to the lower floor. Now this lower floor was quite debatable, and I was talking to some of the moderators about it, because we're trying to keep bases small on this version so they don't take up a load of the sim speed. But you can see they've got some lovely lighting in here. You can see how it just glows to the edge of the perimeter. Very essential. And over here they've got something really quite special. This looks like you come on, you know what this looks like, don't you? And you can see they've even got a pod down at the back here as well. I'm getting some Halo vibes here. This could be a replica, or it could be their own version, but they've got everything they need in here to survive as well. Very cool indeed, as well as these big ass connectors. Very awesome. Very awesome indeed. Let's continue having a look around. So we've got some smaller fighters, just mainly armed with turrets. We've got some stealth aircraft over here in the corner. This is one of Void's stealth ones, I think, with the printable missiles that you saw from the server trailer. Very cool indeed. A nice little facility Ark have got themselves here, and of course they've got a runway that leads out the side of the volcano. Good for jumping off rovers and doing other things as well. Let's head over to the next outpost. This is going to be the BLK. We're going to actually have a look at some of the smaller bases now. So BLK have a tiny little outpost, but the real thing I wanted to show you here was their aircraft. They've got some big plans, it looks like. They've got this red lighting, quite a simple sort of vehicle aircraft. I'm not even too sure if this flies, but what's really cool are these little pods that they've got underneath here. These are little turret pods that can drop into the ground. I checked to see if there were bombs. I looked inside it, and there was no bomb or explosions inside. So it looks like the plan is to drop these little turrets on a target and just annihilate it with turret-based fire. Cool little concept. Anyway, let's jump over to another small outpost. So this is going to be CND. So scrolling down the list, we have CDN. My mistake. So as we come over into this section, the terrain starts to load. CND, I believe, is just a one-man base. CND, CDN, oh god, something's going on with my mind. It's not working 100%. But we can see we've got this lovely green colour. We've got one of the little aircraft that was captured in one of the events. I believe Rushlow owns this place, and he's running a really nice little solo type operation out of it. If we actually take a step inside here, you'll notice we've got his drill ship parked over there. Really nice, cool little creations he's got. And if we take a look over on this hangar, we actually have some other vehicles tucked inside here as well. We've got his truck. He actually managed to survive the Mad Max, and he came through with his truck. And then he's got a little flatbed there, probably for recovering some aircraft in case they're broken into here. We've got his lovely medical room right there. But a really nice little facility. Cool to see a solo player with a nice base like this. Let's continue on. So, jumping around, we have the lovely guys at Fed to visit next. So let's find a grid close to Fed's outpost, and let's take a look at it. Now, there we go. Grids have rendered in, and we are going straight through the main door of Fed's base. Actually, this doesn't look like... This looks like their backup base. We've gone to the wrong grid. Oh no, oh no. Let's go back over to Fed and try to find another one of the grids. So we're going to go to the stone pit. That's not the correct one. I believe it's this one in here. We're kind of in the mess of it though. We've got to get out of here. There we go. So we're over at the Fed outpost now. So they've got this giant runway that just leads out the side of the base here. I'll try not to give too much away, but with the things on this server, you've got to understand that we're always constantly filming it and stuff, and base coordinates, you know, are never leaked, but at the same time, previewing a base like this is always hard to keep everything secret. So over at the Fed base, you can see we've got loads of little fighters going along here. We've got bombers, all sorts of different constructions. A lot of players have been really trying different designs as well. That thing's really cool. So we've also got a lovely poster there of Conrad, one of the cleaners of the server, one of the team members of the LSG team who are cleaning and looking after all the guys on here. So very nice indeed. Cool little outpost. We've got a little bit more over here, but then it just leads to the original outpost we've already seen. So let's jump ourselves back onto the menu and keep going. So we've got another small outpost next, and I believe it's HOR. So HOR are just up in the hills. They're tucked somewhere away nicely. They've been working on this cool little A10 that I saw. I don't know what that's going to be, a little buggy or a cart or something. They've got a Spitfire in production. They've also been working on this cool looking semi-plane cargo helicopter type design on this stretch wing. There's a lot of cool little designs going on from these guys, or even this single player. I'm not too sure what he wants to stick with, but he has got a printing unit there as well, so he could whip out a few different designs that he's been working on in a creative world if he needs to. So we've arrived over at the IMS base. Now they've got some interesting stuff here. These guys started building some ships that I have to say are pretty damn cool. Of course, these are more prop-like ships at the moment. They're not going to actually be doing any fighting because they're stuck into the voxels. But inside here, they've got their production facilities, and this one's blank production facilities up at this end. And they've basically outfitted it like a ship would be. They've got some cool hovercraft designs that we covered in the past. They've got themselves a nice little bunker, aka the Batcave, where they have all these little helicopters. I'm guessing they're calling these bats. Before these were out in the open, but this cool little hangar is going to make for some interesting deployment methods. They've got the roof on the top there that opens up. They're working on some large sort of rover design that's pretty cool. And more importantly, they have a giant seagull in their base. I think it's a seagull. It could be an albatross or something else, but really quite cool. Another fun little outpost that we're taking a look at. So let's jump across. So we're over at the PRL base. It wasn't PRC. The factions names always confuse me. So this one, I wanted to feature this because it's got this cool little hovering runway type pad. You can see they've got the cool little faction logo up there as well. They've got a few helicopters around the place, but they really haven't built too much in terms of plane just yet. They've just got a glittery type machine, and they're working on what looks to be another printer type design. So their base is considerably bigger, and there's a lot to see going on here. So having a look at the top, we actually have ourselves the aircraft carrier or boat they managed to steal right from the first day. I placed in a boat hoping that players would scavenge it. They cut it off the ground like I said before, and now they're converting it nice and steadily into a big floating carrier. Now up at the top up here, they've got their solar array. Trying to rely on solar power is a bit hard on this server, so I'm sure they've got themselves an engine array inside. So going into their hangar, we've got a lovely selection of aircraft here. We've got the purple tip ones that I can only guess are going to be Nano's designs. We've got ourselves an A10 that's double cockpitted. Interesting once again. Over this side, we've got some more helicopters. They've got this cool little bracket to hold all of Cheeky's aircraft. Really nice indeed. We've also got a miniature cargo Chinook there. A really cool hangar that TIR have got here. Now, if we continue around the side, we've got their forklift trucks for lifting up various designs. More seats. They have the projector. They have a lot of information telling you what to do over there as well. And you can see they've got a little floor welder in this section, as well as their miner that leads off into this hangar outside. Another cool base, but more importantly, it's developed quite far since the last time we had a look at it. So jumping over here, we're actually in the dark side of the planet. We've got his miner, but the main thing I wanted to actually feature was this guy here. He's been hard at work building an Osprey with vertical takeoff capabilities. So this guy can fly horizontal, it can be controlled, and more importantly, it looks the business. If we have a quick pop inside here, you can see the seats, you can see the layout of inside. This is the perfect sort of transport to get troops or engineers into the action. You've also got a ramped door there at the back. Really cool indeed. Let's jump on. So the next location we're at is the NDA base. Now the NDA base is this lovely shaft type design with red outside it. You can see they've got some printing, they've got these various pads for their aircraft that are all connected up. But more importantly, they've got a nice long runway down the center that leads to what I can only describe as a dance club with more pictures of Conrad. Clearly his cleaning of this server, I mean the players have taken notice of it. And I don't know what that bottle of beer is to do with anything. Who knows? Anyway, into the VIP access box. You can see this is the fully equipped base with all the things that they need to play on a PvP server. Totally useful, this area. Anyway, let's look at one final location. So the final location we're actually having a look at here isn't a player's base. This is actually one of our admin's sort of base type locations. And Apathy is currently a trader roaming around the map, trading, allowing people to land on his trading boat. You can see he's got a little bomber type thing, possibly for sale. Sometimes he has a few ships and different vehicles for sale around these platforms. And you can see he's also got his little rescue helicopters. He's offering a little bit of a rescue service for players that need any help. He can come out and can pay him some credits and he'll come and rescue him or help them flip over a design. Of course, from a total player perspective, not using any of his admin powers. So there we go, we've got this marvellous sort of carrier underneath with all the rooms that you could possibly want, as well as a cool little spire. And when building any of these heli-carriers, you need some bits that come and dangle down below. But anyway, a really awesome design, and it's great to see this server taking shape. Plenty more planes this week. Anyway, let me know in the description below which is your favourite base, favourite fighter, and I will see you next time.